Hi, this is Mary Kay. Today I'm painting this snow scene with this bright sunrise. This is the prep work that I'm going to show you how to do, and I'll get back to this in a second. So this is 2 pieces of masking tape, the cheap kind. It's about 3/4 of an inch. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it at an angle so that there's a skinny end and a fat end for both of these pieces. And then I'm going to make like a Mona Lisa half smile there and there, so that, because the bottoms of these, it's smooth. I'll take off those little pieces there. The trickiest part, getting that tape up. Oh, come on. And the same thing on this one. This one is going to be for the, we're going to use one of these pieces, and it's going to be for the, okay, so this is what this looks like when these come up. So it's just a long piece, and one of them will probably be a little fatter than the other. I think the fatter one is the one that you're going to put on the outside. This one ends up being a little fatter. So I put it on the paper, kind of bend it, and put it up like that. And this one here goes there. And one of these pieces here is for the bank that these trees are going to come out of. So we want it to be a little higher than that. So this one's lower than that one, and this is higher than this. So I just kind of bend it. I make a little dip there and ignore this part. I'm not even going to really use that part. So that's the prep work to that. The next thing I want to talk about are the colors that I'm going to be using. I use Winsor Newton Permanent Rose. The pigment in this is PV19, Pigment Violet 19. I like to use neutral tint, Winsor Newton neutral tint. It's a mixture of PB15, which is cyan, PBK6, which is soot black, and PV19, which is permanent rose. So it has this little bit of blue and rose in it, into the black, and it's a beautiful color. It's like indigo or sepia. Another color, then I'm not sure I'm going to use this color, but I might. It's Winsor Newton Burnt Sienna. It's PR 101. This is a transparent orangey brown color. And if you're not getting nice colors, it's because you're not using Winsor Newton Burnt Sienna. It's got to be Winsor Newton for Burnt Sienna. The next color I have for the yellows is Daniel Smith Hansa Yellow Medium. It's PY97. A lot of paint companies make paint with PY97, and any of those paints will work. I was using Winsor Newton for years, but one year, probably 25 years ago, they labeled them wrong, and they gave us this bad paint, and I haven't gone back. So one little mistake can make a difference to somebody. Winsor Newton Antwerp Blue is PB27. I love this color. It's very similar to PB15, but it does wonderful things with salt, and I've been using it forever, and I just love it. I'm going to be using Winsor Newton French Ultramarine Blue, PB29. Again, any company that makes a pigment that's pure PB29 is going to work for you. And then the last blue that I'm going to use is Da Vinci Cerulean Blue Genuine, PB36. It's my only Da Vinci paint, and it's because it's the only cerulean blue that uses the pigment blue 36, which is more beautiful than any of the others. Those are loaded in my palette. My prep work is done. So on this painting, I have 2 trees, and usually you need to have 3 trees, but this set of trees over here is my 3rd tree, this set here. In general, you don't want your focal point to be in the center of a painting, but a sun, in my opinion, is the only the only time that the focal point in the center makes sense. So we're gonna make that sun right in the center. And there's these little trees coming up that disappear. I'm just leaving those out. So I'm not gonna put those in at all. And what's beautiful about this is that you have these trees coming out and the branches get more pink and more red as they go closer to the sun. And these out here are less orange, pink, and they're more purple out here. And as they get close to the sun, they get orange and pink. That's what we're gonna try to do. So we're gonna put that sun right in the center, about right here. First thing I'm gonna do is wet my sky. I go right over the tape. You need to make sure that your tape is really secure down to the paper so that it doesn't go seep under. Another thing too is you have to use good paper. If you use a less quality paper with tape, it's gonna rip up when you lift lift it up. So I'm going to wet this down to the snow. I have some lines there, I'm going to ignore them. I'm gonna make my snow lower than the half. So this is all the sky and those backward mountains. I have it slightly going up here and here, so it's kind of a dip in the middle. Now I'm just gonna wet this. I have lines, but I did these lines, I might have used a pencil. They're not gonna disappear, but I don't think I'm gonna see them, so not gonna worry about them. And a couple lines. All the masters used pencil. They all have lines. When you go to a Winslow Homer show, you'll see all the pencil marks. Okay, so that is nice and wet. What I'm gonna do right now is take a paper towel and dry the edges because I don't want watermarks to go back in. I don't want it, and I'm gonna dry the tape. Same reason. Okay. Now, I'm going to make a little dry spot right where I want my sun. So it's going to be right here in the center. Not exact center of the whole painting, up above a little bit, but in the center from side to side. Just going to twist that, and I have a little dry spot now. I damaged my paper a little bit, I think, but that's going to be okay. Now I'm going to take yellow. I'm going to start with yellow. And I'm going to just go around the dry spot that I just made. Yeah, I did kind of damage my paper. We'll see what that does. And then I'm going to brush that out from my center. It's very pale all the way to this top, so I'm going to do that. I wonder why that did that. Okay, I'm wiping that out. Interesting. I have to use a clean spot on my paper towel each time, because if I use a dirty paper towel, it'll just dig that paint into the center. Next, I'm going to add a little bit of pink permanent rose to my yellow and make this very pale salmon-y orange color. And it's going to be yellow right around the sun, but the salmon color is going to go to the top. And I paint right over those trees, right over that tape. They're going to keep the paper white. Now I'm going to go with more permanent rose and yellow to get darker orange. Where do I want to put this? Kind of want to put this down here. There's not really a lot of bright orange up there in the sky. This is a set of mountains behind this last snowbank that goes up to the up to here. So I'm just going to add that in like that. Now I'm going to make some purple. Cleaned out my brush. The purple that I'm going to use, let's see what happens if we use cerulean and permanent rose. It's not quite dark enough. Let's add some French ultramarine to that. That looks good. I like that. Okay. What I'm going to do now is paint soft trees. Soft meaning that it's wet into wet. So these are going to blur and be very faint and just look like trees in the background. I'm just going to go right up to where that sun is. I'm going to definitely make it darker on the outsides. Okay, now I'm going to make more of that color. So it was French ultramarine blue and permanent rose. Now I'm adding a little bit of neutral tint to that, getting it really much darker. Trying to make this one of the darker spots in the painting is right in here. Okay, so these are distant trees coming up. I love how it's changing. So each little brush stroke, the colors are separating a little bit. Kind of making a little mountain in here. Now what I'm going to do is get my museum brush or number 10 round and really rinse it out well and dry it and make some rays coming from the sun through this. So a thirsty brush is really well rinsed and really well dried. So everything is just at an angle right out of the sun. And then I can wipe my brush, and then when it gets a little bit dirty, I need to dry it again. Okay. I'm not liking, this is not that round. So I'm trying to just kind of wipe that up. That's better. And I want to have some more oranges in here, so I'm going to really, I think I'm going to just kind of go in my streaks. See what that does. Oy. I don't like that one there. That one doesn't look like it belongs. Okay. I am feeling like I didn't get enough bright colors in there. I want to fix that, so I'm going to try to fix it by making a brighter orange. I'm going to start in from down here. It's a redder orange, okay? More pink. All right, here we go. Let's try this. All right. Oh, I like that color. Okay, now put this in here. I'm just repainting it basically, especially here around the sun. And if I paint on that side of the tree, there needs to be some on that side of the tree. Comes over here, rinsing out my brush, adding more pink. I'm painting tree shapes here. I think I can go a little higher, a little oranger with these tree shapes up here. It's kind of drying, so I'll add a little water and soften those. Now I'm going to see what happens if I make my sun rays through that. I think that's better. Oy, I didn't clean that brush right there and it made a smudge. Ah! Gotta clean your brush every time. Don't be fast like me. I'll have to put a branch over that or something right there. Does that look like it? I think they need to be a little thicker. All right, I think I need to give up. I wish that were pinker in there. Pinker and redder and oranger. These are new. New verbs or new adjectives, pinker, oranger, redder. My English teacher's name was Mrs. Crawford in high school, and we all loved her so much. I don't know what she would say now. I don't like how this is working. Okay, I just have to stop. That didn't work the way I wanted. Maybe in class it'll go better. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to paint this background in here, and I'm going to wipe up this orange puddle, and I'm going to go back to my 3/4 inch brush, and I'm going to get into my cerulean. There's a little bit of orange there. Okay, so this snowbank right here is going to soften as it goes up to the top of that snowbank. Because the trees are going to come out of this area. And we can have a little bit of these colors back here, behind the tree. Each of the of these big trees has a little hill it's in, so it's not really in front of it. There can be a little bit of dark right at the bottom of the tape, but it makes a little smile there, a little divot that the snow melts that way. Okay. And now I'm going to add a little bit of this blue to the bottom of the paper, just filling it in. I don't want to go up to the tape yet. I do want to sign my name here. I got all that Arches, Aquarelle, Infinity. So I'm going to darken the bottom of my page. I'm going to sign my name over here with my signing tool. Okay. Now I'm going to pull this tape. No, I'm not. I have to paint those trees in first. All right, this needs to be dry when I put these trees in. So excuse me while I go and dry this real fast. Okay, now I am going to, I'm just going to use my pencil brush. I'm going to put these trees in. So it's kind of this purple color. I'm going to put a little more neutral tint into it to darken it. I'm going to start with the outermost trees and make them get more pink as we move in. So I have to remember this mats in a little bit. So if I paint right to here, I'm not even going to see it. So now the trick is that you start on the tape and then you go up to the top. Don't be straight, be kind of crooked. And did you see how I pushed down hard and then I lifted my brush up as I went up? So what I'm trying to do is make it be fattest at the bottom and skinniest at the top. I'm gonna do this again. Okay, so now this one though I put a little more pink into. Okay, so I'm gonna push hard here. And now I'm lifting up as I come up. I want to be crooked. Now I'm going to put more pink. I'm calling it pink, but it's permanent rose. So now I'm doing another one because they get more pink as they get closer to the sun. And I think I need some more of these branches down here, little ones. So they stay skinny the whole way. And if I skip, it's a bit of a problem because it's hard to connect those. I almost have to just kind of start over, press a little harder, and then, you know, come up as you go up, so almost to nothing. Is that enough over there? Maybe some that go like that. See, again, I did that. Okay. Now, I'm gonna start to put some branches in now, and the branches are the pinkest when they're closest to the sun, and they're the darkest farther away. So using these light colors, I'm just using this, the very, very tip of my museum brush. I call this a museum brush because you can find them at museum stores with the names of museum names on them. They're really nice brushes. They don't last forever, but they're only $3, so can't go wrong there. Okay. These guys. So anything that's over here is pink. Even if it's coming from that tree. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing here. Just painting branches. You can also get a rigger brush, which is a long, skinny brush. And then when you paint these lines, you can get really long ones that you can go forever, like you're painting the rigging on a sailing boat. When these branches hit the sun, you can't see them anymore because the sun blots them out. And the crookeder, the better. Make some. Now I'm going to paint the branches on these two trees as well, using the same technique where it's darkest out here. And then as the branches get closer to the sun, this one here we'll wait. These branches will go over this, so we have to take that tape up before we paint those branches in. And again, if there's some of these, then they're going to get lighter as they come this way. Another thing is that at the bottom here, these are going to be a little bit darker at the base, and they get pinker as they go up. So I'm going to just darken the bottom of these little trees. And that's by adding neutral tint to that puddle. And then just lifting my brush up so I'm not going all the way to the top. And they can be dark up here too, a little darker at the top so our eye doesn't go out. But this is the main thing right here. I want to darken, well, I think I'll just, yeah, I think I'll do one more coat over this. Santa Claus is coming. Did you hear the jingle bells? I don't want the tree trunk to be lighter here under the snow, because when I painted that over, I was going over a light area, then I was going a dark area, so I need to put more paint just here so that the tree looks like it's the same all the way up. I kind of overdid it there and trying to show you I sort of messed it up. Okay, now I can pull this tape off. So now you'll see how those trees look like they're coming right out of a snowbank. Now I'm going to pull the tape up off these trees also. Let me think about it, because if we want any colors going behind it, we need to put it on now. So let's work on the snowbanks just a little bit more. So I have something ending here. I'm just going to take some blue paint. So you paint behind the snowbank. So the top of the snowbank is white. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of join that up like that, and then soften this edge going back. I'm going to put some more paint behind this one too. I'm just kind of filling it in, really, just putting little bits of color there. I can do more at the bottom here. I can even add a little bit of that gray to it. Oh, that's pretty. Too bad there's that big watermark there, but I don't mind. That's just part of the painting. One thing we can do is we can add a little bit of this pink purple to the snowbank at the tops of the snowbank. Like right here you might see some. Here there might be some. It's where the sun is shining on it, so it's not in the shadow part, it's on the highlight part. I don't want any of the pink out in this, on these, on the sides of the paper, only in the middle. And there could even be a little bit of this like down here. So if you it makes it feel like the sun is coming toward you. Okay, now I'm going to pull off the tape. And we'll see that we've had these birch trees or aspens. I think these are birch. Okay, now we have to just color them in a little bit. I'm going to start at the bottom. At the bottom, I'm going to use the neutral tint. I'm going to see what happens if I add cerulean to it. You know what? I'm kind of liking it. I'm not even using my French much and no Antwerp at all. Okay, so now, see, I'm painting in the bottom of the trunk, and this is dry into dry pretty much. So right here, you have to keep that angle because the snow is smooth right up to, my tree got fatter. I have to be careful that I don't. Trickier than it looks. Okay, now I'm going to make little scratches. I'm going to take some of this color and I'm going to just color in the top of this tree. Even though it's not that way in the photo so much, you have to stop your eye from going out the trees that go out the page. So I soften soften that and then start to put the marks in. Same thing on that other tree. It's just a compositional trick that you have to know as an artist, because when those are not painted, your eye goes out the tree, whereas when it's dark, it forces your eye to come back to where the light and the contrasts are. Okay, so now I'm going to put in some darks at the bottom of this base. Oh, that was sepia. I really love this neutral tint. Oh, I'm going to put a little more pink in that. Okay, here we go. Now I'm just putting in, oh, that's kind of got, oh, I put in more pink. I like that actually, because it looks like the sun is shining on it more. Let's put some over here too. Oh yeah. So the deer come and scratch their horns, and that's why the bottoms of these trees are so scratched. Oh, I got that wet, so now you can't see. I made a blob. My printer does not have. There's always scars where the tree branches come in. I'm going to darken this even more. Okay. Now I want to put just a tiny bit of pink on reflected light here where the light is shining on the bark. I want that to be sort of a pink shade. Maybe even more pink. You could even, very, very pale, but right in here. On this one too. I had a wet pink paper towel. Now we have a, alrighty. So it's very close to being done now. I need to put something up here. My eye went to that blank spot. I feel that there needs to be something coming off here, that these are just too much the same. So I'm going to get a branch coming out of the tree there. That's how it's dark, but I'm going to add some branches that go pink on that. Can do that. This one would have a, if this has a branch, it's going to go over this tree, because this one's in front because it starts off lower, so it's closer to us. Oh, I just made that blob, so I might as well just go with that. I'm just sort of being, I don't, this has to only, I'm making a lot of mistakes here, so that's good. You can see that they can be corrected. Okay, now I'm going to go back to my rigger brush and the more pink colors, because these little guys will turn pink now as they get closer to the sun. And if I kind of lean back and I look at it, I could do more, but because this is a demonstration painting, I'm just going to stop and be done now. Thanks for watching.